Today we use it to talk, take photos, pay, navigate, and even work. But before becoming the smartphone in your pocket, the telephone was little more than a voice trapped inside a wire. And its story is far more incredible than it seems. Before the telephone, talking to someone far away could take days or weeks. News traveled by letters, horses, and messengers. In 1837, Samuel Morse developed the telegraph. For the first time, a message could travel along an electric wire. But there was a huge limitation: it didn't transmit the human voice, only signals and codes. To actually hear someone far away, people would have to wait longer. In the mid-1800s, many inventors tried to send the human voice through a wire. Antonio Meucci worked from 1849 on a talking telegraph. In 1871, he attempted to protect his invention. In Germany, Johann Philipp Reis built a device capable of transmitting some sounds and words. It wasn't yet the modern telephone, but the revolution was very close. On March 7, 1876, Alexander Graham Bell obtained the patent for the telephone. 3 days later, in his Boston laboratory, came the breakthrough that changed everything. Bell spoke into the transmitter, and his assistant Thomas Watson heard his voice from another room. It was no longer a distorted sound or a fragile experiment. For the first time, a human voice truly traveled through a wire. From that moment on, the world would never be the same. In 1878, one of the first telephone exchanges opened in New Haven, United States. It could connect up to 21 users through a manual switchboard. To make a call, dialing a number wasn't enough. You had to speak with an operator, often a switchboard operator, who physically connected the correct wires. The telephone began to spread into cities, offices, and shops. But in homes, it was still a luxury for a few. At the beginning of the 20th century, the telephone slowly started moving from offices into homes. Early desk models were large, heavy, and often had a separate receiver. Having a telephone at home remained a privilege, but it already began to change distances. A call could warn of an emergency, arrange a meeting, or bring distant people closer together. Between the 1920s and 1960s, the telephone became more common in homes, and the rotary dial became a familiar gesture. You placed your finger in the number, turned the dial, and waited for it to return. Each call took a few seconds, but for millions of families, it was already a small revolution. Then, on November 18, 1963, Bell introduced the first touch-tone push-button phones. Calling became faster, and the old rotary dials slowly disappeared. In the 1960s, push-button phones arrived, faster than the old rotary system. But the real turning point came on April 3, 1973. In New York, Motorola engineer Martin Cooper made a call using a portable prototype. It was as big as a brick and weighed over a kilogram. But for the first time, the telephone was no longer tied to a house, an office, or a car. It could be held in your hand and move with you. In 1983, Motorola received approval for the Dynatac 8000X, the first commercially available portable mobile phone. When it reached stores in 1984, it cost nearly $4,000. It weighed about 800 grams and offered just 30 minutes of talk time after hours of charging. It was huge, expensive, and far from practical. Yet it changed everything. For the first time, the phone could truly belong to a person, not a place. In the 1990s, mobile phones became smaller, more affordable, and finally fit into the pockets of millions of people. On December 3, 1992, the first SMS in history was sent: "Merry Christmas." Soon after, Nokia conquered the world with simple, durable, and easy-to-use phones. In 1994, the IBM Simon arrived, considered one of the first smartphones. It had a touchscreen, calendar, email, and even some apps. Then came BlackBerry, built-in cameras, and mobile internet. The phone was no longer just for calling. On January 9, 2007, Apple introduced the first iPhone, a touchscreen, internet, maps, music, and phone all in one device. The following year, Android arrived, and the race for modern smartphones began. Since then, the mobile phone has become a camera, navigator, television, bank, and work tool. Today, with fast networks, foldable devices, and artificial intelligence, we carry a small computer in our pockets. And its evolution is far from over. From a 19th century experiment to a pocket-sized computer, the telephone has forever changed the way we live and communicate. But one question remains: will the phone of the future still look like a phone? Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next incredible stories.